observations and to take your measurements. There is a lot of variability around the sides of these pits. You can look around the sides of the pits and kind of get a feel for the kinds of material you're dealing with, but ultimately, when it comes to your depth for past erosion, when it comes to your assessment of soil color to differentiate primarily whether you got a wetness issue, you need to be looking in that vertical cross section where that pin is. That's where your samples came from, subsoil and your topsoil sample. We took those from that zone. I guess the other important thing that we're going to run into in this contest is the need to make an assessment of gravel. We're going to talk some more about that and the recognition of different kinds of parent material. I think with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Joe Kraft, our official soil judger. He is in charge right now of not only finding sites and putting this together so that we could have this event, but also with the Northeast Collegiate Soil Judging Contest, which these pits that we have here on this site are just 4 practice pits for that. What are you going to have? Only 12, 15 practice pits for that contest? That contest is next Thursday and Friday, collegiate folks. So Joe is running that whole thing. Basically, I just come down here to have fun with running the LandJudging contest.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've been around and looked at some of these other holes too.
You've helped probably. You have.
Yeah. Anyway, with that, to run over the scorecard, I want to turn it over to Joe to take care of the landscape portion of it in the first part, and then I'll pick up again and talk about the interpretations. Did you get my clipboard? Yeah.
Thank you, Carl. Can you all hear me? If you can't hear me, let me know. So I want to make sure you get all this and take it all in. First, I want to start out with just kind of a general overview of where we are in the state and how some of the geology is working and the sediments and all this. This contest, like Carl said, putting 2 contests on is a challenge for 2 different groups of people. You got the collegiate level I'm dealing with and the FFA. And so I had to find something for both, and we've got a little bit of a challenging site here. I'll be right up front with that. It's going to be something new. I don't think we've seen anything like this on past contests. So if you say, man, what are we looking at? I can't interpret, don't feel bad, because it gives us a challenge when we're even looking at it. Basically, in Howard County here, we are right next to 95. You can hear 95 right behind us. And you do a lot of reading. You say, okay, the bridge between the Piedmont and coastal plain sediments roughly is Interstate 95. Well, like anything in the soil line on the map, the breaks are not clean. There's always a transitional area you're going to be running into. And where we're kind of sitting here, we do have a transitional landscape area going on here, where we might find some coastal plain sediment, old remnant of coastal plain sediment. We will find Piedmont sediment. You also might find some coastal plain sediment over Piedmont sediments or residual sediments. The geology here is schist and a low-grade gneiss intermixed. What happened is there was a fault line and you had like 3 geologies come together. One got shoved over top of the other one and there was mixing going on. So, and that schist geology has been metamorphosed. And part of the component or the makeup of that geology is you have mica in that geology. Mica, if you've been in that pit zone, you might see something that's really shiny and it's flat. You don't feel it. That's the mica. But when you rub out something out, you will see these shiny flakes in there. Those are mica flakes. And they're relatively smooth when you rub out the soil texture. There's also a little coarser component of there, quartz sands that will be in there also. They can be from the gneiss component of the geology or the coastal plain sediment. on top. But they're a little coarser sand. You will feel them. You can hear them. You can feel when you're rubbing them out. The geology also has a lot of different mineral makeup. Some of the minerals give you the idea that there's some gray colors in there. There's some black colors in there. There's brown colors in there. You got to be careful what you're looking at. It's not due to a wetness feature, but it's more due to the mineral makeup of the bedrock itself, the way it's weathered out. And the other general kind of point is the soils are very dry. So when you look at it, if you're just looking at it, you say, wow, that's got a kind of a gray look to it or something like that. You put water on it, it's going to give it a whole different appearance. So you might want to use a little water when you're kind of thinking about the color, just to make sure what you're looking at is the true color, not more like a dried face or some dried organic or silt or something on those things. So that's some of the general overview we have here. Transitional landscape, we find the coastal sediments and the Piedmont sediments. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them anytime. That's what we're here for. Don't be shy. If you have a question, probably 10 other people have the same question. So there's you go. The first thing we want to look at, going through your scorecard now, kind of a general overview of the geology, the setting, where we are. We look at our landscape position. That's the first thing we come to. We have an upland depression, terrace, or floodplain. Where do you think the landscape position is?
Upland.
Upland, very good. An upland depression would probably be something like behind you where you got water coming in from both sides and it's going out one end. If you're down lower in there, that'd be kind of representative of your upland depressional landscape. We're definitely on an upland here. We're not in the lowest part of the landscape. Floodplain, generally floodplains are associated with your streams. You're a relatively flat plain, you drop down into the stream. That's not the case here. We definitely have some relief. There's not a stream nearby. And the terrace position, that's your old stream terrace material, which has been laid down by a major river. The river is since down-cutted. There's not active flooding going on there. You have deposits of gravels in there, the clays and all that. But it was deposited at one time by a river. And we don't have that right here. Okay, any questions on the landscape position? Slope, what do we get for slope?
Strongly sloping.
Strongly sloping. Okay. Strongly sloping, we shot a slope of 9.3%.
If it's coastal, they're low.
On these stakes right here. This one, the blue ribbons. If you went down up on top, that was nearly level, 2%. And then we had a set of stakes down to the draw there, and that was a 5% slope. That's kind of covering your slope classes.
Joe, if you don't mind, just another word about slope. Just to make it clear to everybody here today, even though, well, the fact that we're in the Piedmont means that we're going to use the Piedmont slope breaks. 0 to 3, 3 to 8, 8 to 15, 15, 25, 25 to 50, so on. We would not be using the coastal plain slope breaks, but bear in mind that we could have some soils where the parent material is coastal plain sediments, but I just want to emphasize that we're going to use the Piedmont slope breaks.
Any questions on that?
What were the slopes?
Okay, now I guess I got to get down into the pit. We're working on parent material. What did we get for parent material? Residual. Coastal plain. Residual. Orientation is down here. It's relatively uniform. You got a lot of various colors in here. You have some patterns the way these things are folded in here. You got this seam coming all the way up. It works around. It goes back down on this side. You got this big kind of a greenish, grayish area in the center.